a pleasure to be here. Transparency leads to accountability, leads to change. Every year for the last 10 years or so, I've attended the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. And for those of you that don't know about this show, it's put on by the Consumer Electronics Association, and every year, over 100,000 people fly to Vegas for a big confab on all things technology. You have some of the major consumer electronics companies, hardware companies, software companies, media companies. They all converge on Las Vegas. They rent out all the convention hall space, and they have a series of exhibits. Everybody's showing off the cool gadgetry. There are meetings, there are symposiums, there are all these backdoor, back suite meetings going on. But the highlight of that show for me are the keynote speeches. Some of the CEOs from some of these major companies will rent out a big, huge hall and come in and actually talk about some of the innovation that they're working on. Well, this year was the first year, 10 years, that I didn't go, and I'm kicking myself for not going. I want to share with you a snippet of a video from one of the keynote speeches.
One word that I can think of that can change this industry for the better. That word is inclusion. CES is the best platform to talk about both emerging consumer technology and the most important issues facing our industry. Last year, we talked about conflict minerals, and we've made great progress on our journey to make everything Intel builds conflict-free. This year, there's another important industry-wide issue that will shape the future: the importance of diversity and inclusion in technology. A confluence of industry events has brought this issue to the center stage. From the threats and harassments that have characterized the debate in the gaming world, to the publication of hiring data and diversity statistics in the tech industry, this is a highly relevant issue, and one that we all need to address. I'm here to say tonight, it's time to step up and do more. It's not good enough to say we value diversity and then have our workplaces and our industry not reflect the full availability of and talent pool of women and underrepresented minorities. Tonight, I'm announcing Intel's intention to lead by example and invite the entire technology industry to join us. I'm announcing the creation of the Diversity in Technology Initiative to increase the representation of women and underrepresented minorities in the workplace and our industry. But specifically, we're going to take the following actions at Intel. We've set a goal to reach full representation at all levels in our company's workforce by 2020.
So you can't just talk about the value of diversity and not do anything in your workplace to change diversity. And I want to share with you some thoughts, some best practices, some things that we picked up along the way, and talk a little bit about this initiative. And at the end of it, I really want to enlist your participation and cooperation, because we can't do this alone. Well, I first started off and I said transparency, and that's really where it starts. At Intel, for the last 10 years, actually more than 10 years, we've been releasing publicly our EEO-1 data. Very transparent. We published it first in 2004, and what it did was it fostered vigorous debate and discussion inside of our company. We knew that there was a problem, but it wasn't until we actually just opened the kimono and talked about intelligently the challenges that faced our workforce in terms of gender diversity, underrepresented minorities, LGBTQ, people with disabilities, veterans, that we really started to focus on the things that we could do to make our situation better. The other thing it did was it opened us up to external influences, people coming to us and giving us ideas. And I think that's really the linchpin of what got us to this point where we would even announce an initiative of this magnitude during the Consumer Electronics Show. The second part is accountability. And I'll talk a little bit about our initiative briefly, but you should know that everyone in our company is held accountable to our goal of 2020 full inclusion. It's a variable that's in the equation for all of our performance bonuses. When you think of company performance, we're actually measured on how well we succeed. So if you're going to put out a goal in terms of workforce diversity, you have to actually put some teeth behind it. I'm not going to say that everybody in our company is on board, but we're changing the course by actually making sure that people are accountable and all our ships are sailing in the right direction. Hopefully, this leads to change. Now, we don't profess to have all the answers, because this, God knows, this is a very, very tough problem. It's a challenge for everyone. But we think that transparency is the foundation for being able to address these issues, to talk intelligently about them, and to try and find solutions that work. Not only that, just makes good business sense. We're in an industry that's fast-paced. Inclusion and innovation go hand in hand. The diversity of viewpoints, from our manufacturing, our process design, to the way we market our products, to the way we go around the world trying to take computing technology to the masses. It starts with inclusion. I'm always encouraged by the following quote from Bill Wolfe, who was the former president of the National Academy of Engineering. You wouldn't expect an engineer to say this, but he starts out by saying that engineering is a profoundly creative profession, and that without diversity, the life experiences we bring to an engineering problem are limited. And as a consequence of a lack of diversity, we pay an opportunity cost, a cost in designs not thought of, in solutions not produced. I think that's a pretty profound statement coming from an engineer. And we actually use this quote internally. As you know, engineers are very data-driven, but we try to appeal to their sense of actually seeing that this is about innovation, it's about disruption, and diversity plays a role. So let's talk a little bit about our commitment. And again, I've been here in DC all week on Capitol Hill talking to various lawmakers, telling them about our initiative. But I want to share with you some of the things that I shared with them. Hey, like I said, we don't profess to have all the answers, but these are just some things that we found that have worked as a result of being transparent. And it really starts with, as you mentioned earlier, money, resources. It's all the best intentions in the world sometimes can be challenged if you don't have the resources, the personnel to really tackle these issues. Intel's a large company, so we're placing a big bet. Over the course of the next 5 years, we want to spend upwards of $300 million towards achieving that goal. And it's really focused on 3 vectors: hiring, retention, and progression. So what do we do in this space? Hiring, I can tell you right now, since January, our leadership, our CEO and president, every week get 49 levels of data on our hiring pipeline. We have a talent organization that is energized to go across the country to all the land-grant universities, HBCUs, universities that have high Latino populations, and really trying to figure out what will work in terms of increasing our pipeline and getting those candidates in those job recs. From an employer and supplier standpoint, we are also, let me go back there, sorry about that. From an employee and supplier diversity standpoint, our supplier diversity team is actually embedded in our procurement team, which means that they are able to influence all the senior managers that go out and make those vendor decisions. We found that that's been successful in actually having a matrixed approach and actually bringing qualified small businesses and minority-owned businesses to the table so that they can be vetted. And last but not least, women and underrepresented minorities in gaming and technology. On Tuesday of this week, we announced a $125 million diversity technology investment fund. Now, we've always heard, or at least some of us have heard, that, oh, well, there just aren't enough good ideas out there. There are plenty of good ideas. The issue has always been access to capital. So we're putting our money where our mouth is. With Intel Capital, we have over $1 billion worth of portfolio companies, and we're putting money towards good quality ideas, and we've made announcements in 4 placements that we've made this week alone. So the challenges are great, but with this initiative and our goal by 2020, we hope to really achieve that goal, and we're all held accountable for that. Quickly, you can't do it just with good intentions, whiteboard discussions, and whatnot. You actually need people. And so what we do is we actually have our senior leaders of color in leadership positions, and they mentor some of our junior employees. We found that to hold off attrition, you know, that mentor, mentee, sponsor relationship is really valuable. It changes our corporate culture, and hopefully it'll change our community. Lastly, I want to tell you about ways to find out more information about what we're doing to participate. If you go on our website, you'll see our diversity section. We're upgrading it on a weekly basis. You'll find all of our data. And we definitely want to partner with other companies. We know we can't do this alone, but we figure if we put a stake in the ground, we can work with those companies that are doing great, fabulous things, Google, Microsoft, Apple, Cisco, Oracle, and others, and look forward to working with those that want to participate. Thank you.